So when they come to us and they say, oh, so-and-so broke up with me, or I'm really in love with this boy, immediately we go into defense and say, oh, well, you can't be.
So what do we do when our kids go through heartbreak? You know, maybe they have a crush or a relationship problem. How do we help them without belittling them or making them feel like, oh, you know, that's just a little relationship, you'll get over it? How do we respect them and honor them and help them through that kind of thing?
It's just a wonderful question, because first of all, you're acknowledging how much kids really suffer. And when I wrote The Truth, I'm a Girl, I'm Smart, and I Know Everything, I had to decide what events would the little girl write in her diary that really were pathetic and upsetting and life-changing. And the major one for her was a crush. And I picked a crush because every workshop I've ever led, everybody can remember their first crush. And no matter how old you are, there's a mixture of pain and pleasure in that memory. And this little girl just fell right in when Paul walked into class, and he didn't look at her, and he did look at her, and he didn't look at her. And even when he was 4 inches shorter than she was still trying to fathom how she would grow up if she couldn't marry him. So it's very important that we empathize and we get back to some of these things. And it's not just the crush, it's a friend that moves away, it's daddy taking a new job that maybe changes his hours or the money in the family. Maybe it's a sibling either arriving or now becoming a pest. These are tragic moments, and we have to get closer to them. So we can talk about how we do that helpfully.
Well, I think empathy is key, of course, and really listening to what they have to say and making sure that you understand what they're feeling and what they're talking about. I think what's important is not to make it about you, because a lot of people turn it around and say, oh, well, when I was 14, I had this and that and the other thing, and all of a sudden it's a story about you and not about your child who wants to talk to you and tell you what they're feeling and what they're thinking. And the other thing that I think is helpful is to ask them how they want to do this particular thing. Did your mother ask you if you wanted to go and visit the boy?
Oh, well, I was telling her I wanted to. Yes, begging.
Because sometimes parents just do these things on their own. So I think it's really important to ask your child how they want to deal with the situation and what they see as productive for them and important for them, and really listen and have respect for that.
I think respect is the key. I think, you know, what both of you are talking about is sort of like, how do we respect our kids, both in scenarios where maybe, you know, we're past that behavior, and so we've forgotten that tenderness, that pain, the intensity of that experience at a young age, and also where, you know, sort of like how to get curious about where our kids are around it. And respect seems so key. It's reminding me of, I don't know if you know Gerald Newmark's book, How to Raise Emotionally Healthy Children. And it's a wonderful book, and he talks about kids having 5 critical needs. And the first one is the need to be respected, which is what I hear you talking about. The second is the need to feel important, that what we experience is valuable and worthwhile. The need to feel accepted, that, you know, we are who we are, our uniqueness is valued and important. The need to feel included, and the need to feel secure. And like everything what you were saying, it feels like, wow, those 5 is like you were describing sort of how do we integrate those 5 critical needs into our kids' experiences, so it's not about us,
Exactly.
but about really honoring them.
I think the one thing that a lot of parents are dealing with too is almost this relief that our children aren't in a relationship anymore, because a lot of times when these crushes happen in an age that we feel is too young, we start going through the scenarios in our head of, well, am I condoning them having sex at 12 years old? Am I condoning them having a relationship before I am ready for them to have a relationship? So when they come to us and they say, oh, so-and-so broke up with me, or I'm really in love with this boy, immediately we go into defense and say, oh, well, you can't be. You can't be, you're too young to be in a relationship, you're too young to be in love. And then when they come back and they're saying, you know, oh, he broke my heart and I just want to die, and we go, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal, you're only 12 years old. So we have to remember that if we want our children to learn how to love us and respect us, we have to appreciate that we're teaching them how to love and respect another person. So that goes beyond the relationship that they have with mom and dad and or, you know, grandma and grandpa. That's going out to their friends and, you know, people that they may eventually fall in love with outside of us. So we have to, you know, like everybody else was saying, we have to take it beyond ourselves. We also have to realize that we have to embrace the fact that they're learning how to love somebody else and have feelings for another person and empathy for another person.
So what we're really talking about is teaching kids how to be in relationships from a very young age and how to handle it when they have crushes or when they break up at such a young age, whether they're boys or girls, and how to honor their feelings, how to respect them, and how to give them the support that they need.